Satnam and welcome back to the channel. My name is Jai Gobind and this is your channel for grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live, and thank you to those of you that are watching the replay, and welcome to our Libra Full Moon Astrology, Gene Keys, and Human Design reading. We're going to be looking at the chart of the full moon that is happening on April 1st. So next week, we are going to be looking at the human design chart of the full moon. And I'm also going to be talking about the gene key and the codon ring that is being activated with the energy of the full moon. Before we dive in, I do want to say thank you guys for being here. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, so that YouTube and the algorithm can do its little magic and spread the word so we get some more people in our community and sharing this powerful information that I feel is like people are thirsty for right now. So thank you for doing that. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. I usually live stream, but I do upload videos every now and then. I do have a podcast where you'll get notified if you have that bell on of when the videos are up and available to watch. And there's some amazing stuff also on the channel that you can browse through. Let me say hi to everybody that's here. Hello, Mary. Welcome in. Hello, Dawn. And hello, Rochelle. And in a moment, we're going to dive into the bulk of the content of this video. But before we dive in, I always love to share some exciting news, workshops that are coming up, courses that are coming up. But the thing that I am like over the freaking moon about is our Sedona retreat that is coming up in May. Specifically May 27th through the 31st. It's a 5-day retreat where we are going to be hiking. We're going to be going to the vortexes in Sedona. I've got some special things that we are going to do. Part of what we're doing, like the climax, the completion of our journey, is a cacao ceremony on the day of the full moon in Sagittarius. So we're going to be on the red rocks watching the full moon freaking rise together while we celebrate the completion of our journey. That's like the climax. But there are other things that I cannot freaking wait, okay? We're going to be visiting some spots that we have not before. So if you have been to my workshops, we're going to change it up a little bit. Yes, we're going to do like the main Hikes Cathedral Rock. The vortex there is amazing. I call it the Orion Portal. There is like just so much. Let me show you some of the pictures of Sedona while I talk about this. That's actually the location. This here is the location that we do our cacao ceremony at. That's Bella Rock right there. So as I share with you some of these pictures, I want to tell you that like the experience that is unfolding right now, that's Cathedral Rock, in the planning of this specific retreat to Sedona, are blowing my mind. Legit blowing my mind. And I honestly cannot wait. One of the cool things we're going to do is automatically included with the retreat is a drum making workshop. So you are going to take your own hand drum with you, just like one of these specific, size, shape, but you're going to take your own drum. We're actually going to do a grounding and sacred offering ritual and blessing of the drums at a very special secret location. It's secret to you guys. It's not a secret location to know, but it's secret and it's special. And I want to keep it that way because you're going to you're going to die when you find out where we're going to be going to do this drum circle. Yes, we're going to play our drums all together. That's amazing. This is, I believe, also from Cathedral Rock. Sedona is amazing. It is beyond magical. The place is very activating. We're going to go swimming in the river. This is my mom. She came with us the first year. She actually came last year too. But she was watching my niece, so she didn't get to join us in the activities. This is our ceremony on the last day. Oh, you guys, I just can't. Sedona. So that's what I'm most excited about. And I can't freaking wait for all of us. We're being very silly. Oh, yeah, we're going to go visit the Palatka ruins. The cave, where the cave dwellings and the ancient petroglyphs. Magical. So, if you want to join us, it's super easy. Fill out the application. Check out the link in the description. Fill out the application, and then I'll send you all the details and all the information of everything that that you're going to need, and freaking see you there. Look at all this. Themes of Atlantis, ancient Atlantis, Lemuria, astrology. Like, I look at the astrology when I plan the workshops and the events and the journeys and like the hikes. Drum journeys, drum making workshop, Kundalini meditation, sound healing, vortex hikes, full moon cacao ceremony. All right. You get the freaking picture. But check it out, because it's going to be the best one yet. I am not even joking. The workshops that we have planned, the activities that we're going to do together, like, you are going to be amazed. Also, if you have not checked out my book, Seasons and Stargates, it is now available for purchase. You can click on the link or go to my website, channelforgrace.com. Get the paper copy or the ebook version. If you buy the paper copy, I believe I am still doing the free ebook, but just get your hands on the book, because this is the complete guide, astrological guide to the entire astrological year. Every season, all the transits, all the aspects, like I give you dates, I give you analysis for the new and full moon. We're actually going to look at the Libra full moon analysis from the book today when we talk about the full moon. But this book is so amazing. It's got rituals. It's got suggested tarot oracle spreads. It's got the essential oil that I recommend for us to use for the season, the crystal that I recommend that we use. It's got information about what the seasons represent. This is great for beginners and advanced students in astrology. It guides you beautifully through the whole experience, including journaling prompts that essentially are bringing your attention to where the season is occurring in your chart and how to navigate that yourself, which is the key. And last but not least, we do have a sale going on right now, half off of our Aligned by Design program, which includes 10 sessions where we get to know you. We share with you your soul's blueprint, including astrology, gene keys, human design. We do energy reading and clearing. We give you the information to understand one challenging relationship in your life, which can be breakthrough activating. We do 3 soul retrieval sessions for the inner child so that you can begin to fully heal in a deeper way. It's not just in your mind. It's not an intellectual thing. You're actually going to be guided through a beautiful experience to take you back in time, like time traveling, and bring that little lost child that's been fragmented and left in the past back into you. These sessions are the most powerful. You get Reiki, and you get 1 past life regression session as well. And then we integrate all of it. So this is half off for the month of March. All the information you can check out on this page. Ashley and I love freaking doing this together. You guys, please check it out. All right. Thank you for letting me share all that magic. And without further ado, let us now hop in to the main event of tonight's video, the analysis of the full moon in Libra. If you're here, it's because you care about growth, alignment, and living consciously. And I want you to know, everything I create inside Channel for Grace is designed to help you live aligned by design, in your power and in your strength. We have a free global community where light workers from around the world gather to connect and support one another. A starseed membership that guides you through the entire astrological year so you understand what's happening and how to work with it. We offer astrology courses, special workshops, and the Moon Goddess training, all housed inside one intentional private space. If you're ready for real support, real community, and real alignment, check out the links below and come join us. I'd love to walk this journey with you. So here we are, gazing at the full moon in Libra astrology chart. And you know that it's a full moon because the moon and the sun are exactly opposing each other. These are all really great, like, astrology lessons when you watch my videos, because part of what I love to do is to actually teach as I'm talking. Like, I talk in a way that you learn about all this stuff. So here we go. Full moon in the sign of Libra. It's happening at 12 degrees, 21 minutes, or 20 minutes, 21 minutes actually. Let's go forward. 21 minutes of Libra, and happening on the High Heart Chakra, which is one of the 3 chakras that in the ancient Atlantean wisdom talks about part of the journey of the incarnation of the spirit into matter. There's 3 chakras. It's Ham, Het, Hum. Ham is the chakra above the head. Het is the High Heart Chakra, and Hum is the chakra below the feet. And they literally symbolize the story of how from spirit we descend into matter, and in the physical time-space reality we have a mission, a path, a purpose to walk on this earth. And so Het is that moment of contemplation. It is the suspension of the breath. It's the holding of the breath. After you take a deep breath in, that spirit, you hold the breath and you feel the essence, and then you exhale and you ground the energy down. Well, the High Heart Chakra is that middle path. In that way, it's a really beautiful energy. And every time I tune into people's High Heart Chakra, it's always like balanced and elevated, and it has this like pink color to me. And I love the energy. These 3 chakras are major. And the energy of this one is very like soothing, very, very soothing. So this is the chakra that we're working on with this full moon. This is also activating the immune system of the body, which is about protection. So when it comes to relationships, because Libra is ruled by the planet Venus, and Venus is the planet of love and beauty, but it's also relationships and finding balance and harmony within relationships. It's all about partnerships. So there's an aspect of this moon that also asks you to kind of look into your life and see, where am I in my, path in relationship? Like, am I really struggling in relationship? Am I moving through challenging things in relationship? Am I finding harmony in relationship? Just the realm of relationship just shows up big time, and it becomes even stronger of a frequency when you take into consideration that this full moon is landing on the 48th gene key, which goes from the shadow of inadequacy to the gift of resourcefulness to the city of wisdom, and it's described as the wonder of uncertainty. So when we get to the gene keys in the human design chart, I want to show you deeper significance of that gene key, and we're going to read into the Siddhic frequency of wisdom. Like, what does it truly mean to step into wisdom? It's also part of the codon ring of matter, and we'll talk about that also in a moment. But speaking to this chart that we have in front of us here, I want to actually use, as I'm talking about the astrology, I want to read to you from Seasons and Stargates. And so this is part of what I've written about the analysis of this full moon. It's because it's more poetic. But this full moon in Libra illuminates the balance between ourself and others. So it's essentially calling us to examine the harmony or the disharmony in our relationships. Libra is ruled by Venus. Like I just mentioned, she seeks beauty, she seeks fairness, she seeks connection. And at the time of this moon, she is actually in Taurus. She has recently entered Taurus and is feeling very, very good. So that is a really good sign that the ruler of the full moon is at home in dignity in the sign of the earth, none other. And that grounds us and that anchors us. And that is the key to make us feel that security, like the uncertainty will not have such a deep hold on us, that feeling of inadequacy, low self-esteem, because this energy of Taurus is about your value, like how much you value yourself. And those values will obviously range many different places for everyone. But if you don't value or love yourself, you're going to have a very challenging time when it comes to dealing with the shadow of inadequacy. It'll take you, right? It'll sweep you away like a flood. Like a flood comes in, like a flash flood. You don't want to be taken or swooped out of here through inadequacy, through feeling inadequate. So how can you use this opportunity, because new and full moons are essentially portals. How can we use this opportunity to step into our wisdom, like our deep wisdom? And that is beautiful. So we got a strong full moon when it relates to this planet Venus. Also, what we are experiencing is that there are, the Libra is like the scales, right? So these scales are held up right now to our lives. So one of the questions that we need to ask ourselves is, where do we give too much or not enough? Where have we sacrificed our truth for peace or clung too tightly to independence at the cost of intimacy? So a Libra full moon is going to reveal the relational mirrors around us. It's going to show you yourself through the mirror of relationship, showing how every encounter reflects the inner dance of love, shadow, and self-worth. We are doing this dance right now. I am definitely going through it in my own personal life. So think of relationships as the biggest theme that shows up for us during this lunation. So at its highest frequency, this moon is inviting us into sacred union, but not only with others, but also with ourselves, that deeper harmony that you can only find in a relationship when you actually have it inside yourself. So think of this full moon as this mirror that shows up and reflects this dance between who am I and my relationships, and also freedom, but also responsibility. And then like light, but also shadow. There's a lot of aspects that are going on with this moon that I want to talk about. And one of them is that the actual moon is being T-squared by the planet Jupiter. And Jupiter is the biggest planet in astrology. So he is going to enhance, he's going to make bigger whatever it is that we're dealing with. He's going to go, this is like, pay attention, like we're going to make a big deal out of this. So he's exaggerating the whole theme of what I just talked about, the balance between us and our other, us and the other. So we're going to feel stretched between being called to expand and like step into that freedom, but then at the same time feel the weight of our relationships. That's why if we're in harmony in relationship, then we can simultaneously expand, because that relationship essentially supports our growth and expansion. Doesn't retract it, doesn't repress it, it actually encourages it. So we're needing to see very clearly where in our life that frequency of harmony has been disrupted. The moon is also making a quincunx to Mercury, which is over here in Pisces at 14 degrees of Pisces. And the quincunxes are a little bit like squares in the sense that they can bring up something uncomfortable, like uncomfortable energy. So this is like, okay, you got to have the uncomfortable conversations. But also, because he's in Pisces, sometimes silence is better. Sometimes silence is louder than words. And sitting in that silent space may be the key to understanding things at that deeper level, so that then you can have the healing conversations. Because Mercury is in Pisces and it's in a stellium with the North Node and Mars. And so that energy of compassion and love and divine energy is very strong too. And Mercury is making a trine to Jupiter that is T-squaring. So Jupiter is like the softening a little bit. Remember that all the water signs are the signs that bring in the emotions. So this can be a very emotional time, especially because a full moon is 100% enhancing of the emotional realm. On the other side over here, we have the Sun, Saturn, and Neptune. So this is also a stellium in Aries that is also enhancing, and it includes Chiron, because Chiron is also in Aries, enhancing the weight. So like the weight of Aries is stronger than the weight, like the moon is over there in Libra all by itself. All these other planets are opposing it in Aries. So it pulls us deeper into that dance that I was talking about, but it also pulls us into the part of like self-healing that is essential for good and healthy relationships. So what this is doing is Saturn calls us into responsibility and discipline and devotion. Neptune calls us into vision and intuition. And then the Sun in Aries is calling us into self-assertion, like self-knowing, while Chiron calls in the healing frequency. So essentially, it's like take your vision, take your ideal, and actually ground it into a real structure. Bring it into the physical time-space reality. Saturn is also making a sextile to Pluto, which always brings in transformation, death, change, and transformation. But the sextile softens that transition. So it can feel like something is shifting and deep, like at a deep soul level. It's reorienting us. And it's also reorienting our foundations so that we can have that stronger foundation before we go and expand or try to move to the next step in our healing, to the next phase in our healing. What is really interesting is that the ruler of this moon, Venus, is making a square to Pluto. Now that's a challenge. That's the biggest challenge outside the freaking Jupiter T-squaring, the full moon, which brings a lot of tension. Even though it's like, it's Jupiter and it's, he's the greater benefic, it's still tension. Tension that will always ask to be resolved through actual action. It's like you can't just sit there and stay still. You need to do something. And then the square from Venus to Pluto is bringing up like real raw truths in the matter of the heart. So it's essentially pushing us to confront the shadow of control, to confront power dynamics that live in our relationships, and the ways that our fear shapes our relationships. And the one beautiful thing is that Venus herself is also making a trine to the South Node, which actually softens that confrontation. It like softens that intensity, that friction. It's like, okay, but this is for a reason. Whenever there's aspects to the notes, it starts to feel more intentional than like there's no reason for it. And so the trine to the trine to the South Node from Venus is helping us to understand like the behind the scenes, the origin, the reason behind any of the issues that are showing up, the karmic entanglements. And so it invites us, we can step into, it's the chance to step into love, but with greater clarity. To add to this, we have Jupiter on the Sirius Stargate, which is connected to goddess Isis. It's connected to ancient Egypt. It's the sacred, divine, feminine wisdom. It's the mother. She's the mother, the nurturing mother, right? Cancer is also the sign of the high priestess. So it's like when we're at our best. And the hairline moon center. It's like when you're at your best, you're owning everything that literally comes out of you. You're owning your emotions. You're owning your words. I have been going through this myself lately, and it's like, whoa. I've stopped myself over and over from sending a voice note, from saying this thing out loud, from sharing too much information. Like, I think it's time to find a little more self-control and not, as I like to say, vomit everything out. Because I'm starting to realize, and you may too, that a lot of what's going on is that we throw too much out there because we're like anxiety in our bodies, and we're like, bleh, you know? Well, that's fine because you need to let it out at some time, at some point, but then you might realize that you actually don't. You actually can acknowledge it, and you don't need to engage in a conversation where it becomes gossip, where it takes on that like low level frequency of the energy, and you're just like grinding it a little bit more, like, let me get a little more, let me squeeze a little more of this nastiness that lives inside of me. It's like, no, stop. The devotion and the discipline that Saturn is bringing to this, it's like refining ourselves to fully like live what we say. Are you guys feeling that? Like you can't hide anymore? And there's certain things about yourself that you're like, I don't like that. Okay, well, you get to choose whether you keep acting that way or engaging with that thought or like diving in to that like negativity. You actually get to choose. And I think we're receiving the clarity that, damn, these things like live inside of it. That's the mirror. So when someone pushes you, when you're frictioned into changing, it can be huge. So are you open to healing, like deeply healing in the space of relationship by stepping into a truth that is you in the deepest way, like I think that we've ever experienced before? We're being asked to see beyond the surface of our struggles and recognize their place in like the larger tapestry of evolution. And then Uranus, who is actually within the darkness to light portal, getting ready to go into Gemini, he's making a trine to Pluto. He's helping us to move through the breakthroughs. He's bringing in those sudden breakthroughs. See, like we got help. We're not like just out there doing it on our own. Mars is also on Pegasus. And that encourages us to step into courage, to move with intention and through the lens of intuition, to have faith that like we can do it. And also that we're not alone, that we're really not alone. So this full moon essentially to me is not necessarily, it's a balancing act, but it's not gentle, right? It's more of like an initiation because we're being asked to see where fear and control or feelings of inadequacy, which we're going to go to that 48th Jinki next, keep us from true harmony. But it is encouraging us to be very courageous and very brave. Today we were recording a podcast, a group podcast, and then we were asked if there was a message that right now that you would give to humanity, like what would that be? If you could channel from the universe a message for humanity. And the thing that came to me was be brave and take the path less taken. Take the path less trodden. And because that is what we need to do right now. There's no instruction book. There's no like guidebook as to like, where do I go next? Where do I need to like put my energy into next? Like there is no rules anymore. You need to create the future that you want to see. And so that means that you have to trust in something within you. That deeper wisdom of the 48th gene, you need to trust that deep within you, because that is what is going to guide you forward. It's about walking through the uncertainty with actual grace. Hence why we're, doing the 40 days of grace experience, where we're learning like that nuance of like, what does it really even mean to be in grace, to live in grace? So I love this gene key, the 48th gene key, because it really takes us into a deep space of contemplation. As it literally says, you are not going to feel comfortable and confident within yourself until you step into your inner wisdom. And that shows us that it doesn't live outside. It actually lives inside. Your design, especially like when we're talking about human design, the red side, the unconscious side, the design side is that part of you that knows exactly where it's going. Except it doesn't talk in words. It talks in action. But it cannot go unless you let it. The mind tries to take control. The body knows exactly where it needs to walk. We have our feet and we're walking on the earth, and they're like, go this way, go that way. In your life, you're always being guided by your strategy and your authority. But if your mind tries to steer you this way or steer you that way because it thinks that it knows that, and it feels like it's in control, it actually steers you out. So the transition from like wanting to know that you're in control, which is funny because on the other side of the freaking full moon, the sun is on the 21st, which is the shadow of control. So if you're trying to control everything, that's in the mind space, right? You're in your head. And you need to drop into your body because your body knows which way to go. Like if you were to stop thinking in a very important moment where you had a very important decision to make and you stopped thinking and you asked your body, what's the answer? What do I need to do? And you just stayed quiet. Something would come through that would be a clue as to which direction to go. That's how to move through the uncertainty. You have to trust. This 48th gene key, let's look at it here actually, is in the spleen center in human design. And the spleen center is the center of instinct, not intuition. Instinct. You don't see a lion sitting there going, I wonder what I should do. There is like a giant group of like freaking, buffalo coming. Like, no. The lion goes instinctually into hunting mode. You don't have to, the lion doesn't have to think about what it needs to do. And that's the cool thing about instinct. And that's why we have such a hard time trusting it, because the instinct that comes through the spleen sometimes makes zero sense. For example, there's a really good example that I like to tell about spleen and splenic authority. And it has to do with my husband. He is a splenic projector, so he has splenic authority. And he travels a lot for work. And on one of his trips, he was like, I'm going to take the southern route home, which is like way longer, like hours longer than the normal route, which is through the north. And he's like, I just have a feeling and I cannot shake it off and I can't go that way. So I'm just going to go south. Like going this way feels so much better and like relaxing than going that way. I'm like, my whole body's like, like a cat, like hair standing up. Don't do it. Don't do it. And so he followed his intuition, which is not his intuition, is his instinct, his splenic knowing, deep knowing, without questioning that it made zero sense to go south because it was going to take him longer to get home. Well, it turns out that the exact moment that he would have been on this specific highway, there was like a tornado warning. And he would have been in that storm if he had not listened to his spleen, his splenic instinctual authority, and not gone that way. Because instincts don't lie. Instincts know exactly what to do, and it doesn't repeat itself. It's not like you don't get to sit there and wonder, like, I wonder if this is the right thing to do. If you don't listen, it just like gone. So the 48th in the lens of human design is actually called the gate of death. So you can see it's like, it literally, the energy of this, it always comes from deep within. In the Gene Keys, it talks about the well. The well. I mean, what is a well? It's a deep hole. Straight up deep hole. When you look down there, you can't really see what's in the deep hole, but there are things down there. Well, this gate of death is people born with a wisdom so natural that they rarely see it within themselves until someone asks. So with this energy, we have the potential to come up with new solutions for things. Whereas the 58, which is a different gate, is the blind joy of challenging something. And the 18th is the ability to pinpoint and challenge specifically through criticism. It does take this 48th gate to suggest an actual solution to a problem. So people who have this 48th gate in their design are sitting on a fountain of natural wisdom, waiting for the right moment to be shared. So it's wisdom that is found deep down in this well that is waiting for the right moment to be shared, which means that yes, we have to wait for it to arrive. But when it does, that's why we have to listen to it, because it doesn't come that often. And if you ignore it, you're ignoring like a big, important, the most important message that's trying to come through for you. So you're going to live, when you don't trust this wisdom, you're going to live in this place of inadequacy where you feel like not good enough, where you feel like you don't really know what's going on. But when you lift that frequency up higher, it becomes resourcefulness, and then eventually it becomes wisdom. So I actually want to read about, like, what does this city of wisdom represent for us? So let me transition back to here. And I can see your comments a little bit better, which, hello and welcome and thank you for being here. Dawn says, found my plane ticket today. I love it. I'm so excited. Salty Mama says, I am so stuck by the degree being 12 degrees, 21 minutes, 12:21 being a palindrome, represents harmony, balance, and cosmic order. And the mirror reflections of the Libra and Aries axis so deep. I know, right? Rochelle, be brave and go your own way are the only two sayings I have up in my house. So important for the kids to grow up with. I love that. Shayna, happy Libra Full Moon. The 48th is your life's work. Okay, well, here we go. This is going to be very enlightening for you because we're diving right in. And I am reading from the Gene Keys book, Embracing Your Higher Purpose with by Richard Rudd. All right, 48th City of Wisdom. The beyondness of being and not being. The 48th City of Wisdom is one of the truly great cities. Wisdom has been revered and sought by all cultures since the beginning of time. There are many definitions of wisdom, most of them based on the notion of some kind of inner knowledge that allows you to see beyond the confines of what is considered normal awareness. Collectively, the 64 gene keys represent an encyclopedia of the 64 archetypes or codes within the human continuum. At the Siddhic level, however, this differentiated continuum ceases to exist. Each Siddhi uses its own paradoxical language to address that which lies beyond words. In this context, the 48th Siddhi is the great archetype of the beyond itself. It's something that all human beings aspire to, and at the same time, it is something that terrifies us. The 48th Siddhi opens up the void inside you. In a human being, it is the primal state of not knowing. It is a most delightful and infuriating paradox that wisdom arrives through not knowing rather than through knowing. And there lies the key. Knowing, i.e., knowledge, is something we can always gather from life experience. To know takes great effort and exertion, whereas not knowing is already inside you. Everything about wisdom is about being unsafe and unsecure. There is a great difference between being insecure and being unsecure. To be insecure is to be kidnapped by fear and taken on an illusory journey that promises final redemption but can never deliver it. That journey is the human journey, and it is ultimately discovered as meaningless. There are simply no solutions, because there is no problem in the first place. To be unsecure, on the other hand, is to have embraced your urge to escape the fear in every way possible. It is to realize that your body itself is not afraid to die. Whoa, full stop, right? It is absolutely natural for your body to die. Neither is the mind really afraid to die, since the mind is just an aspect of the functioning of your body. What then is it inside us human beings that is afraid to die? The answer to this question is the source of true wisdom. It is the ultimate solution to all our human questions and problems. Only life can answer this question. No words can point to the grand illusion of our existence. When the body dies, its constituent elements will return to the great web of life and continue to be endlessly recycled throughout the universe. What then remains of you? The answer to all such questions is another single question, and no matter what the question, the return question is always the same. Which us, which you, and which me? There is no me, you, or us. To be unsecure is to be more secure than is possibly imaginable. Are you like in the mind confusion yet, or what? To be unsecure is to surrender all your inner questions back to the infinite. There is a wonderful story about the great Indian sage Bodhidharma arriving before the Chinese emperor with a shoe on his head. When the emperor asked him the meaning of the shoe, he replied that he wanted the emperor to know right away what kind of man he was dealing with. This story is symbolic of the unsecure nature of true wisdom. It will not and cannot be comprehended with the mind. From time immemorial, humans have intuitively grasped that wisdom is feminine in essence. The great goddesses of many cultures are representations of this understanding, but wisdom itself is beyond opposites. The nature of the feminine simply points the way towards this embodiment. The images that have been used to describe wisdom are thus feminine in nature. Water, wells, springs, valleys, and darkness are all examples. Water is one of the greatest symbols for the nature of wisdom because it is paradoxical. It's empty yet full, weak yet strong, resistant yet yielding. Ultimately, it shapes itself to the vessel it is held in, and when the vessel is gone, it dissipates yet lives on. One who is truly wise is like water in all these ways. You are wise because you do not know you are wise. You are powerful because you do not care about power. You are fearless because you do not really exist. The question of all seekers of wisdom is how to attain it. This is the question of the heart, of all the mysteries and all the great religions and sciences. Modern science continues to try and find the single unified theory that will resolve all questions about the universe. Humanity does not yet realize that the answer to this question will not resolve the universe. It will dissolve the universe. The answer lies within the question itself, just as it lies within the individual. The only true manifestation of wisdom is complete ordinariness. When this city dawns within an individual, a paradoxical sentence in itself, that individual ceases to exist, but becomes an aspect of the whole, functioning spontaneously and innocently. The irony is that this is exactly what the individual was before wisdom occurred. In other words, wisdom changes nothing inside us. It is this realization that brings about wisdom. There is nothing wiser in all of humanity than the physical body. When a human being discovers this secret, they begin to tap the source of universal wisdom. Wisdom is rooted in utter trust of your body. Sat Nam. Through the eyes of wisdom, everything within the sphere of human experience can be reduced to a simple physical sensation. Even thinking. The body must be allowed to feel the way it feels. It must be allowed to think the way it thinks. It must be allowed to act the way it acts. Nothing the body does can ever be wrong. It is the false concept that there is a way to be harmonious and a way to be inharmonious. That is the root of all human dilemmas. There's nothing but harmony, and there is nothing but wisdom. You must come to realize through whatever experiences the body follows, that your acts, thoughts, and movements emerge from the totality rather than having an independent source. Whoa. Not only is there no individual choice in our lives, there is no chooser. So the whole concept of freedom or determination goes out the window. We began this 48th gift by seeing how inadequate human beings can feel when faced with the many challenges we each have in life. We are designed to feel this inadequacy because it is the beginning of our journey. There is wisdom even within this inadequacy because it is felt by the body. Your mental anxiety is also an aspect of your bodily wisdom, as are your desires, fantasies, anger, contempt, and lust. Everything begins with the body and ends with the body. If every feeling is allowed and lived out fully and in trust, then this deep inner vibration of fear within you must eventually fizzle out. The fear is really the fear of fear itself. And when it is looked squarely in the face, then all other fears are simply reduced to bodily sensations that continually arise and disappear again. At this stage of deep wisdom, you can no longer discriminate between physical sensations. The feeling of intense bliss, for example, is no different from the feeling of lust or even physical pain. The body simply follows its own wisdom, and this wisdom dissolves that which identifies with the sensations. As we said earlier, what the 48th city leaves behind is an absolutely ordinary human being. There is a lot there. There is a lot there. What I want to read is about the ring of matter that this Jinki is a part of. The ring of matter and its 4 specific gene keys, which are the 18th, the 46th, the 48, and the 57, program the human developmental process of incarnation from the point of conception to age 21. It is through this codon ring that spirit first penetrates into the world of matter and releases its true radiance. Throughout each of these cycles, the codon ring of matter and its associated gene keys play a crucial role through continued testing of the outer environment. Essentially, these gene keys are looking for constant biofeedback so that the child can orient itself in the world in a healthier manner. The 3 phases, physical, emotional, and mental, are governed by the 46th, 48th, and 18th gene keys respectively, whereas the 57th gene key lays down even deeper seeds of these 3 phases through the 3 trimesters during gestation. Thus, this codon ring is of huge importance at the developmental level, as it governs the very infrastructure of our physical, emotional, and mental health. And a really great way to put this into perspective is to always find the repressive nature and the reactive nature of that gene key, because that's going to give you a more practical understanding of what you're dealing with at the shadow level. So with this 48th gene key and the shadow of inadequacy, its repressive nature is to be bland. So there's 2 types of people within the collective shadow frequency: those who duck their heads and give into their fears, repressive, and those who project their fears externally onto others. That's reactive. The repressive nature of the 48th shadow forms the collective blandness of the mass consciousness. These are the sheep whose fears are buried beneath the surface by whatever the system tells them. The majority of people on our planet fall into this category. This consciousness is too afraid to look into the fear with its own body, so it settles into the fixed patterns given to it by society. Of course, life arranges events in all people's lives that force them to face their fears. However, unless such events precipitate a major awakening, the repressive nature tends to bury its head even deeper in the sand once such periods pass. And the reactive nature is unscrupulous. The other side of the 48th shadow is seen in those who feed the general sense of inadequacy in others. Oof. These are people whose rage does not allow them to admit that they are also afraid. And so they become victims of the system in a different way. These people use their knowledge to manipulate the fears of others while hiding behind the system. They keep their own fear at bay by externalizing it, and they increase the general level of fear by their unscrupulous actions. Such behavior greatly reinforces shadow frequency. It is because of these people that humanity feels a general paranoia. Whoa. We know that there are people in positions of power throughout the system who do not care about others at all, but we cannot always see and identify them. This gives us the feeling that all of society is impersonal and beyond our control. So how do we heal this energy? How do we work with this energy? You know, if we look at in the human design, the channel, the complete channel from the 48, which is in the spleen, to the 16th, which is in the throat center, from spleen to throat, this is expressed instinct. Then we can kind of also start to paint the bigger picture of this energy. This channel is called the channel of the wavelength, which is a design of talent. It says, if you have this channel, you have the design of talent, but this talent has to be earned through constant repetition and gradual improvement. You need to wait for the one thing that you can give yourself to totally. It's also the channel as the channel of caring skills. Being the creative channel of the understanding circuit, which means it's about understanding the world, making sense of things. The 4816 is about mastery. These people are here to find something in life that they can practice over and over until they have refined and mastered it. Logical creativity is different from individual creativity. This channel represents the talent that has to be earned by hard work and commitment, which means that it's a good thing that Saturn is a part of the stellium, because he is inviting us into this discipline and hard work and commitment. If these people are able to stay with their process, their recognition will always finally come. Thus, mastery always depends on continual repetition, but it eventually becomes art when it's liberated from technique. It also takes the body 7 years to learn any technique deeply enough in order to transcend it. As a channel of the understanding circuit, the talent in this channel is here to be shared with the collective. Such talent is most natural when it has a wider purpose that improves the world in some way. This is also the channel of caring skills. Now, this is reminding me of something. So does anyone have, here's a question for you guys. Does anyone have the 48th in their chart or in their gene keys? Well, Shayna does. Or the 16th? I think, I'm pretty sure, almost 100% positive, that the 16th is my north node. Yep, that's what I thought. So this is a great example because for me, my north node, right, is on the 16th, which is the gate of skills. In the gene keys, the 16th is the shadow of indifference, gift of versatility, and city of mastery. Codon ring of prosperity, described as magical genius. So magical genius and the wonder of uncertainty are the two energies that connect together. But if you have these two, either one of these, that means that if you have the 16th, actually, that means that the moon is going to be completing the channel of the wavelength. And I can make a connection chart to show you this. So this is my chart, right? So if I make a connection chart between me and the Libra full moon, this will show you what I mean. So this is how this full moon is going to affect me personally. Now let's not talk about all this other stuff down here, but let's just talk about this. So my 16th gate becomes complete with the moon right here. And so this channel of the wavelength becomes activated for me during the full moon. So if this happens for you too, this is what it means. It means that the energy of basically what I read about, stepping into, talent, mastery, allowing your creativity to actually take you to deeper places because you devote yourself to something. You have the potential to actually manifest it. But it's about, the deeper thing here is that you have to commit yourself to something. But it's a wavelength that flows naturally. I don't think this is a forced energy either. I don't think that you can force yourself into something. I think it's also part that you have to kind of know intuitively that you're fully in. You're all in without sometimes even knowing that you're all in. So on this full moon in Libra, we have the same channel that we have been talking about for a while, the channel of community activated through the nodes, the north node and the south node. So that means that will center is active, solar plexus is active. We can feel a lot of emotional waves, but we can also at least feel a sense of willpower deep inside. So our job, for me, if I was just reading this full moon through this human design chart, is to wait for the clarity, but also trust the moments where deep wisdom comes through out of nowhere, seemingly out of nowhere, to guide you on your path. I think that that's what we need to do for this full moon, is allow that deep, deep, deep knowing. Allow yourself to tap into the well and guide you through whatever shows up, whatever challenges that the Venus square Pluto brings, or Chiron in Aries brings, whatever challenge, you know how to act and what to do because you trust in that deep knowing, and you trust that you can move 100% through breakthroughs in this space as well. So, what do you guys think about all this? It is a lot. It is a lot, but it's actually, it makes sense, you know? Let me check your comments here. I'm curious. It almost feels like it's so much information that I think it's going to slowly start to land between now and next week when the full moon is actually happening on April 1st. That the wisdom is, we're moving closer to that wisdom. That maybe if we feel uncertain right now, that we might feel a little bit more, you know, in our element when we trust in that deeper wisdom, that it's going to come through when we need it, it's going to be there. And that's about trusting our body, our design side of our chart in a way that maybe we have never before. That's what this full moon is calling us to. It's quite interesting, right? It's quite interesting. So, thank you guys for listening to that analysis and for being here, whether you're here live or whether you're watching the replay. And hopefully I will see you when we have our full moon ceremony and ritual next week on April 1st. Until then, I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope to see you in Sedona at the end of May. If you're thinking about it, do it now. Don't wait. Spots are filling up. And we're like, everything is falling into place. So if you feel the call, just go for it. Also, because you have to arrange, you know, where you're going to stay, your flight, like there's a lot. So you don't want to wait. But trust me that if you feel the call, like you should be there, because this retreat is going to be like the best yet. And I can't freaking wait. So thank you all. And I will see you all again next time. Satnam. If you're here, it's because you care about growth, alignment, and living consciously. And I want you to know, everything I create inside Channel for Grace is designed to help you live aligned by design, in your power and in your strength. We have a free global community where light workers from around the world gather to connect and support one another. A starseed membership that guides you through the entire astrological year so you understand what's happening and how to work with it. We offer astrology courses, special workshops, and the Moon Goddess training, all housed inside one intentional private space. If you're ready for real support, real community, and real alignment, check out the links below and come join us. I'd love to walk this journey with you.